Hello, it's Weekend Handicapper. In this video, we are going to analyze the 2020 Lecomte at the fairgrounds. This is one of the races that is on the road to the Kentucky Derby, so maybe we're seeing a future Derby winner in this field. All right, so it's a mile and 16th at the fairgrounds, post time 6:55 Eastern Standard Time. It might have a chance of a rainstorm around in the afternoon, so you might want to factor an off-track in. Now, before I go to picks and analysis, if you haven't already, I appreciate it if you subscribe to this YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so you can get all the latest tips, tools, and resources to help you win some money at the racetrack. All right, so let's get going. A big field of 14 here at the Lecomte. It's a wide open race. There's so many contenders in here. Now, you can look at it several ways. You could be like, so many contenders, I need to pass this race. I don't have a strong opinion. Or you could be like, there are so many contenders here, a wide open race offering all kinds of value. If you're right, you're going to hit a home run and be compensated for it, and you'll get some big prices. So however you want to look at it, if you want to play it, great, because if you are right in this race, you're probably going to walk away and cash out with a decent profit. All right, so so far, this race has produced winners that are early speed horses, or I think half the time the horses have wired the field. So that's a key thing to look for and pay attention to when you're handicapping and when you're watching a race. Who could get out to the early lead? It seems like the inside horses might have an advantage too. So if you're a pace player, a track bias player, maybe one of the key factors to look at is who gets out to the early lead and who's on the inside. That might be where your winner comes from. But there's so much early speed here. I mean, gosh, you got more than a handful of horses that's going to fight for the early lead. Typically, that sets up for a closer, but that's going against the track bias. This is why this game is so frustrating, so difficult, but so challenging and rewarding when you're right if you can solve this puzzle. So early speed horses, maybe inside horses, might have the advantage. Number one, the number one horse is Finnick the Fierce. Finnick the Fierce is a closer. It's on the inside, coming off a layoff. But it was second at the same distance. Today's a mile and 16, so it came in second last time. It's got a couple good works. I don't think it can win unless the pace falls apart, but it's a good exotic horse, so probably use that underneath in your exactas, tries, and supers if you play those types of wagers. Number two, Brad Cox and Florent Drew have a horse. So Florent Drew's the jockey, Brad Cox the trainer. They're teaming up with number two, Mr. Monon Me, I guess. I don't know. I might struggle with a couple of these names in this race. But the number two horse is going to be wearing white. So it's an early speed horse. Really good trainer that I'm a fan of. It's got that inside post. Hopefully it might offer a little value. It's 9-2 on the morning line. I'm sure it's going to get bet down. But number two, however you say Mr. Monon, whatever, is a definite contender in my opinion. Number three, Perfect Star, another speed horse, early speed horse. Its last three races are on turf. This is on dirt. So I'm going to try to play other horses than the number three, Perfect Star. Number four, Scabbard. It's a closer. It's been coming in off running in some good races. Got the class of this race for sure. But will the running style coming off the pace be a hindrance to this horse? Remember, it's two ways to look at it. Either if that many early speed horses are going out, pick one from those early speed horses, especially if the track bias or track profile is playing that way. Or do you bet on a closer, such as number four, Scabbard, to pick up the pieces and that result from the collapse of all those early speed horses fighting for the early lead? However way you play it, I think this number four is a contender. It's definitely a contender. Whatever its running style is, it seems like a good horse that has a legitimate shot to win this race. And certainly using exotics, that's for sure. Number 5, Accession. It's a Steve Asmussen horse. Asmussen has several in here. It's always competitive. I don't think the horse can win, but you might want to use it underneath too, because there's other horses that I prefer. Doesn't mean this horse is a bad horse or anything. You're going to see this a lot on this Derby trail as we're trying to figure out these young horses. They're lightly raced. They come off layoffs. They don't have many races to go by. So you're always going to be in that kind of predicament. Number 6, New Eagle, is an early speed horse. Yet again, it's won at today's distance, but that was on turf. Mike Baker, pretty good trainers. But it's coming off a layoff. I'm going to skip, as much respect I have for Mike Baker as a trainer, I'm going to skip this particular horse. Number 7, this is an interesting horse, 15-1 morning line. It's called Halo Again, another Steve Asmussen horse. Has Joe Talamo riding it. It's undefeated. Only question mark, in my opinion, is the distance. Can the horse stretch out to the distance? But it's probably going to be an issue. I'm not too confident on the horse getting the distance. But at 15-1, it's worth the wager, in my opinion. That's a legitimate long shot, number 7, Halo Again. Number 8, Jack the Empire. Has a 2-race winning streak. It's hard to bet against horses that are on a win streak, and it's won 3 out of the 4. It's coming off a layoff. As much as I hate to say it, I'm going to pass. I'm going to try to play against a horse that's in good form, that's been winning races, which is usually not too smart. So if that angle beats me again, I'm going to have to lick my wounds and deal with it. But I'm going to look other places other than number 8, Jack the Empire. Number 9, Silver State, certainly a contender here. It's another Asmussen horse with his main jockey, Ricardo Santana Jr. They team up and win a lot of races, so that angle alone might be worthy of a bet, but it could improve. Its only loss is by a nose. Otherwise, this horse would be undefeated. So it's definitely contender, number 9, Silver State. Number 10, Enforceable, excuse me. Enforceable, it's a closer. Closer might have a hard time closing in on this race with all these early speed horses. I've said it before, maybe the early out front on the lead or near the lead is where you want to be. This horse isn't going to be there. So its only shot is if the pace collapses. But I'm going to look other places. Number 11, Bango. Bango for Greg Foley. This is an interesting long shot. I think it's 20-1 morning line, something like that. Let me see here. Yeah, 20-1 morning line. I think the pace sets up well for him. It's always competitive. If it likes the distance, it's stretching out. But if it likes the distance at that price, you got to take a shot on number 11, Bango. And if you don't have a win bet on it, certainly I encourage you to probably use that in exactas, trifectas, superfectas underneath. I think if this horse runs consistently like it's been doing, then it's going to hopefully factor in those exotics, beef up those payouts, and at a price. So number 11, Bango, is certainly a legitimate long shot. Number 12, Shasha, Shake Me Up, or Shasha, Shake Me Up maybe. I might need a Shasha, Shake Me Up to get over this cold I got. It's another early speed horse. With other early speed horses in the race, I'm going to look to prefer them, but I won't be mad at you for using this horse in the exotics too. Number 13, Sycamore Run. This is a legitimate contender. 6-1 morning line, Joe Sharp's horse. It's 1 race, 1 victory, so that's all we could go on, but that was okay. It's never raced the route, but it might like it. I think the early speed, it's worth a shot, especially at that price, 6-1. Hopefully it won't move much from there. You'll probably get maybe 5-1, 9-2 maybe, but I think at that price, I would take a shot with number 13, Sycamore Run. And number 14, Lynn's Map. This horse has a 2-race winning streak. Could be worth a wager underneath. Certainly could win. I wouldn't be surprised if it won, but definitely use underneath. All right, so how am I going to bet the 2020 Lecomte? Oh my gosh, this is a tough race. But as a handicapper that loves big payouts and good prices, this is what you want. So don't be afraid to spread and Dutch. You know, some people get on you for betting 3 horses to win, Dutching them. What's the harm in that if you're going to profit, if you're still going to make a good profit? Here I could see 6 horses winning, for sure. That would be the number 2, Mr. Monami, number 4, Scabbard, number 7, Halo Again, number 9, Silver State, number 11, that Long Shot Bango, and number 13, Sycamore Run. Whoo! I guess number 2, based on the inside post and that early speed, would be my top pick. I'm very interested in number 7, which is Halo Again at 15-1. I'm very interested in Bango at the number 11 horse at 20-1. Your number 9, Silver State's a legitimate contender. Number 13, Sycamore Run. Golly, this is a tough race, a very tough race. Bet who you like, who you think's gonna, based on the pace, based on the way they're coming into the race, whatever angle you use, just look for the value. And I think all these horses pretty much going to give you value. If you're looking for good underneath horses that I'll probably use, and remember, all these 6 horses I just mentioned, you better believe I'm going to be playing some nice exacta combinations, maybe put a nice superfecta together. Using those horses. Other horses to use underneath that I won't be using in a win spot would be number 1, Finnick the Fierce, number 14, Lynn's Map, and probably number 5, Accession, or however you say that. Let's see. Yeah, Accession. All right, so wide open race, wide open betting race, should be fun to watch. Be careful, right? You could start spread and get too crazy. Just like the Kentucky Derby, a lot of people spread too much. And when there's so many logical combinations that could be had, you go broke in one race. So be careful. But if I had to, it's hard. It's hard. And usually when you say that, you probably should skip it. But I'm going to put at least a few bucks on some of these contenders. Probably the number 2, the number 7, the number 11. And the number 4, golly, it's just going to be, I'm probably going to put a lot of combinations together, a couple win bets, but it's wide open, y'all. It's wide open, maybe not spread too much, but I'm going to use some of those long shots, and you know, part of me is be a fool not to include the number 4, the number 9, number 13 in those exotics. So it's wide open. So the main thing is be careful. Don't spread yourself too thin and use too much of your bankroll in this one wide open race with lightly raced horses that are coming off layoffs, that are young, still developing. What I would like for you to do, I encourage you to have a strong opinion, maybe 1 or 2 horses, and just put a few bucks on it, let you have a strong opinion, and put more than that. But at least don't jump too deeply in this wide open race, and enjoy it. Live to fight another day if you don't have a strong opinion. But it should be really fun race to watch. A full field, hopefully of 14 horses that will produce some really good payouts. Okay? So, if you like this video, hit this subscribe button, hit that notification bell, leave a comment. I'd love to hear who you like in the 2020 Lecomte. And until next time, hopefully I'll have a better voice. Happy handicapping and smart wagering. Good luck.